Hello everyone, I Dr. Muhammad Junaid Khan and welcome to this video. Today I will discuss an important topic in academic research, how to protect your research from retraction. Publishing a research paper is a significant achievement for any researcher. It represents months or even years of hard work, experimentation, analysis, and writing. A published paper contributes to scientific knowledge and helps build a researcher's academic reputation. However, did you know that sometimes published research papers are later removed from the scientific record? This process is called retraction. A retraction occurs when a journal withdraws a published paper due to serious issues such as plagiarism, data fabrication, major errors, ethical violations, or problems discovered after publication. Retraction can have serious consequences for authors, institutions, and the credibility of research. In this video, I will discuss what retraction means, the common reasons why research papers get retracted, and most importantly, the practical steps researchers can take to avoid retraction and maintain research integrity. Retraction of journal articles, meaning, reasons, and impact. Right? This presentation covered these topics. What is retraction? Common reasons for retraction. How to retraction process works. What is a retraction notice? Who is affected and how? How to avoid retraction? And conclusion. We will see, discuss one by one in this today's presentation. Okay. First of all, we will see what is retraction. The meaning of this retraction. A retraction means the paper should no longer be considered part of the scientific literature. This is the meaning of this retraction. Definition of this: a retraction is the formal withdrawal of a published research paper from the scientific record, usually due to serious errors, ethical breach, or misconduct. Purpose of retraction: to alert readers that the paper contains unreliable or invalid data, to prevent the continuous use or citation of incorrect information, to uphold the integrity of the scientific record. Differences from correction or withdrawal. Correction means errata used for minor issues that don't affect the main conclusions. Retraction used for major problems that invalidate the study. Remember, withdrawal pre-publication happens before the paper is formally published online or in print. Right? These are the differences between the correction, retraction, and withdrawal. Okay? Visibility. Retraction notices are permanent and linked to the original article. The article remains accessible for transparency but clearly marked. Ethical standards based on COPE. COPE is the Committee on Publication Ethics Guidelines. Okay. Journals must clearly state why an article was retracted. Okay. Okay. I can summarize these things. A retraction means that a published article has been formally withdrawn from the scientific record. Okay. This usually happens when serious issues are discovered after publication, such as plagiarism, data fabrication, or major methodological errors. Importantly, a retracted paper is not deleted. It stays online with a clear label or watermark saying retracted. This helps ensure transparency so that other researchers know that the findings should not be cited or relied upon. In simple terms, retraction protects the credibility of science by removing flawed or unethical research from the body of trusted knowledge. Common reasons for retraction. First of all, plagiarism. Copying from published or unpublished sources. Easily detected by plagiarism detection tools. Turnitin, authenticate. Violates copyright and originality standards. Next one, data fabrication or falsification. Making up fake data or altering images or graphs. Considered scientific fraud. Leads to long-term bans or blacklisting. Next one, duplicate submission or publication. Submitting the same manuscript to multiple journals misleads the research community and inflates publication counts. Next one, ethical issues. Lack of institutional review board approval, violating patient confidentially or misusing animal testing. Next one, authorship problems. Ghost authors, those who wrote but not credited. Guest authors listed without contribution. Disputes can lead to retraction or correction. Next one, peer review manipulation. Fake reviews using fraudulent email IDs, several mass retraction in recent years. Okay, last one, honest errors, mistakes in calculation, labeled figures, or wrong data analysis. If the conclusions are invalid, the article may be voluntarily retracted. Okay, now I am summarizing of this slide, previous slide. There are many reasons why journals retract articles, some due to misconduct, others due to honest mistakes. The most common reason is plagiarism, where authors copy others' work without citation. Okay. Another serious issue is data fabrication or falsification, where results are manipulated to make the paper look more impressive. Duplicate publication or publishing the same content in more than one journal also violates ethics. Okay. Retraction can also happen for ethical reasons. For example, when human or animal studies don't follow approval procedures, right? Sometimes the problem comes from the publication process itself, such as fake peer reviews or authorship disputes. However, not all retraction are misconduct. Some are due to honest error discovered later, and retracting in such cases shows integrity. Okay. The key message: retraction protects the credibility of research. It's about correction or not punishment. Okay. How the retraction process works. First of all, detection stage may arise from plagiarism software, reader complaint, or whistleblower. Journals often have a research integrity officer to handle such cases. Next one, assessment stage. Editor verifies if the issues is substantial and warrants investigation. Trivial or unsupported claims are dismissed at this point. Investigation stage. Authors are notified and given a chance to respond. Data authenticity, ethical approvals, and analysis are reviewed. External experts may be consulted. Decision-making stage. Based on evidence, the editor and publisher jointly decide. No action, correction, expression of concern, retraction. Decision documented internally. Retraction notice publication clearly states the reason, for example, plagiarism, error, misconduct, linked to both the original paper and journal index. Follows COPE's Retraction Guidelines 2019. Post-retraction marking. The original PDF remains visible, clearly watermarked, retracted to maintain transparency and traceability. Okay. Let's now understand how the retraction process actually works. It usually starts when someone detects a potential issue. This could be an editor, a peer reviews, or even a reader who spots plagiarism or data manipulation. Next, the editorial board performs a preliminary assessment to confirm whether the concern is valid. If there's enough evidence, the case moves into a formal investigation. Authors are contacted for clarification and their raw data may be requested. In complex cases, the author's institution is also involved. After the investigation, the editor and publisher decide whether retraction is necessary. Once the decision is made, a retraction notice is published. Okay. This is a short statement that explains the reason for the retraction and who initiated it. Finally, the original article remains online, but is clearly marked with a retracted watermark. The entire process should follow COPE guidelines to ensure fairness and transparency. Okay. Now, what is a retraction notice? First of all, I will see the structure of a retraction notice. Okay. Title: Retraction. Original paper title. Okay. Authors and journal. Names and DOI listed. Okay. Date: when retraction occurred. Okay. Reason: clear and specific. Example: data fabrication, honest error, plagiarism. Okay. Next, initiator: who requested the retraction. Author, editor, institution. Okay. Statement: clarifies whether all authors agreed. Okay. Best practices: COPE guidelines. Notices must be freely accessible, open access. Okay. Must not be ambiguous. Reasons should be clearly stated. Should appear in the journal's table of contents. The original article should be watermarked, not deleted. Okay. Transparency and permanence prevents confusion in citation databases, Scopus, PubMed, Web of Science. Retraction notices are indexed separately to preserve the academic record. Okay. Last one, ethical consideration. Journals must avoid defamatory or overly judgment language. Okay. The tone should remain factual and objective. Okay. I summarize. After the decision to retract an article, the journal publishes what's called a retraction notice. This notice is an official statement that explains why the paper has been withdrawn from the scientific record. Okay. It is linked directly to the original article. So, whenever someone tries to access the paper, they can immediately see that it has been retracted and understand the reason behind it. Okay. Retraction notices typically mention who initiated the retraction, whether it was the author, editor, or publisher, and include a brief explanation such as plagiarism, data error, or ethical misconduct. Importantly, the retraction article usually remains online for the sake of transparency, but it is clearly marked with a watermark or a red banner saying retracted. Okay. This ensures that future researchers don't unknowingly cite invalid results. So, the retraction notice served as a visible, permanent record that maintains the integrity of scientific com- communication. Okay? Okay. Who is affected and how? First, impact on authors. Okay. Professional reputation. Second, career progression. Third, legal institutional consequences. Psychological impact. These four impacts on the authors. First, professional reputation. Retraction can permanently associate an author's name and misconduct or negligence. Okay. Career progression. Funding agencies, institutions, and promotion committees often consider retraction negatively. Legal institutional consequences. In serious cases, institution may revoke degree or terminate employment. Okay. Psychological impact. Honest errors leading to retraction may cause stress or discouragement even without misconduct. Second thing, impact on journals publishers. Reputation damage. The frequent retractions may indicate poor editorial oversight. Editorial review pressure. Editors face scrutiny to tighten peer review. Positive side, transparent retraction can actually strengthen trust by showing accountability. Third point, impact on research community. Citation of retracted work. Retraction are sometimes overlooked, causing misinformation to persist in new studies. Research-based experiments may be repeated based on invalid data. Ethical learning serves as an example for future researchers about integrity standards. Impact on society, public trust. Scandals like the MMR Ortiz paper undermined faith in vaccines and science. Policy implications. Policymakers may base decisions on flawed findings before retraction occurs. Education retractions emphasize the importance of transparency and accountability in science communication. Retraction does not just affect the authors, it has a ripple effect across the entire scientific community. Let's start with the authors. A retracted paper can seriously damage their professional reputation, limit future research funding, and in cases of misconduct, even lead to disciplinary or legal actions. For the journal or publisher, frequent retractions can reduce credibility and negatively affect its impact factor. It can also attract criticism about the journal's peer review and editorial standards. The research community suffers too. Researchers may unknowingly cite retracted papers, wasting time, effort, and sources on flawed research results. Finally, the public and society are not immune. Retractions in fields like medicine or public health can lead to widespread misinformation, eroding trust in scientific institutions and policies. So, a single retraction can have wide-ranging consequences, reinforcing why ethical research and careful review are essential. This is important slide, right? How to avoid retraction. Research integrity. Maintain accurate lab records and data sets. Okay. Store raw data securely for at least 5 years. Many journals may request verification. Use reproducible research practices, for example, version control, code sharing. Next thing, avoiding plagiarism. Paraphrase ideas instead of copying text. Always credit sources for data, figures, or ideas. Self-plagiarism, reusing your own published work is also unethical. Next thing, ethical conduct. Get ethical clearance before starting experiments. Okay, follow institutional and international standards. For example, Declaration of Helsinki. Right. Next one, transparency in reporting. Right. Declare funding sources and conflict of interest. Share methodology details to enable reproducibility. Published negative or null results to reduce publication bias. Responsible authorship. Follow the ICMJE, that is International Committee of Medical Journal Editors. Authorship criteria. Avoid adding honorably authors or omitting contributors. Next one, compliance with journal and COPE policies. Review COPE's publication ethics flowcharts. Read your target journal's submission guidelines carefully. Don't manipulate citation to boost impact. Okay, now I summarize this PPT. The best way to deal with retraction is to avoid it in the first place. The foundation of this is research integrity. Always collect real data, avoid any manipulation, and keep your raw data safely stored for verification. Okay. Next, make sure to avoid plagiarism. by using reliable plagiarism check tools and citing all your sources properly. Follow ethical guidelines, especially if your research involves human or animal subjects. Always obtain ethical clearance and informed consent. Be transparent about your funding, affiliations, and possible conflicts of interest. Reporting both positive and negative results truthfully builds long-term trust. Collaborate ethically. Assign authorship only to those who genuinely contributed and avoid ghost or honorary authorship. Finally, take time to understand the journal's policies. Never submit your manuscript to multiple journals at the same time, and follow the guidelines from organizations like COP's Committee on Publication Ethics. Remember, prevention is always better than retraction. Honestly, accuracy, and transparency make your research truly valuable. Conclusions of this presentation. Retraction is a positive action, corrects the literature and prevents misinformation, encourage open discussion about errors. Learning from retraction. Each retraction case is a learning opportunity for institutions and authors. Promotes improvement in peer review, data management, and ethics training. Research culture change. Need to shift focus from publish or perish to publish with purpose. Encourage transparency, replication studies, and data sharing. Role of institutions. Universities should educate researchers on ethics and COPE guidelines. Journals should act responsible and communicate clearly about retraction. Now I conclude of this today's lecture. To conclude, let's remember that retraction is not punishment, but a way to protect the credibility of science. Mistakes happen, sometimes due to oversight, sometimes due to genuine errors. And retraction allows the scientific record to be corrected transparently. The goal is not to shame researchers, but to uphold honesty and trust in the scientific community. By following ethical practices, maintaining transparency, and learning from past retractions, we can make research stronger and more reliable, because in the end, science does not fail when we make mistakes, it fails when we hide them. Thank you for watching and keep promoting integrity in research. Thank you everyone for listening me, and if any query you have related to this, so please give the comments. I will try to provide the answer in the good manner, and kindly request you to please share and like these videos and subscribe if possible. Thank you very much.